Well, she couldn't quite remember, and then the reality is it couldn't be too many, right? Because you're not getting older, and I'm not getting older. And
The second grade, he's 21.
that's pretty high level math. We should ask Michaela or Ben or Tricia. So Robby was a longtime parent at our school. She has 3 children that attended our school. She was an art teacher. She was part of our first team that helped us write the International Baccalaureate, and she's all sorts of additional things throughout her years here, between producing sets and running theater programs, and we can't even explain how happy we are to have her here. And so without any further comments, I want to introduce you all to Miss Robby Schlessinger, who will be delivering our graduation speech.
Thomas Wolfe famously titled one of his books, "You Can't Go Home Again." Poor Thomas Wolfe. He never went to Newgate School. It feels like coming home being here. It doesn't seem to matter if you've been at Newgate since you were 18 months old like Ben, or if you've only been here for 2 or 3 years. Newgate will become you, and you will become Newgate. It becomes part of your heart, of your very soul. Once a Montessori kid, always a Montessori kid. Looking out at all of you, I see friends, but more importantly, I see memories. I see stories. You would be surprised how many times I think of all of you and how often I talk about you. I'm tempted to just stand up here and reminisce and tell sweet, funny stories about all of you. But after meeting the amazing students last night, the 4 graduates, I think I owe it to them to try to say something meaningful in a common sense, down to earth, roll up your sleeves, Miss Robby kind of way. So I've come up with a list of pronouncements, rules for living, Miss Robby-isms, if you will. The first pearl of wisdom that I'm going to drop on our graduates tonight has to do with passion. This whole idea of having one overwhelming passion is nice. There have been a lot of books written in the past decade or so about following your bliss and finding your passion and the pursuit of whatever. And that's great. It helps sell books, if nothing else. And if you have a dream, go for it. Knock yourself out. But if you don't know exactly what you want to do, it's okay. I call that keeping your options open. If at the tender age of 18 you're not sure what you want to do for the rest of your life, then just go out there and learn everything you can about everything. You have plenty of time. You are allowed to change your mind, believe it or not. School should not be a race to a diploma. It takes a lifetime to become educated, and even then, you're never finished. If I could be your fairy godmother for these 4 amazing kids down here, I would give you this. I wouldn't give you an overwhelming passion. I would wave my magic wand and I would say, go forth in your life and do everything passionately. Love the work. Freud said that all we have is work and love. Work is its own reward. You already know how to work. You learned to work with great joy when you were a little kid in the Carson room and it was your turn to wash the tables. You lucky Montessori International Baccalaureate graduates, you have learned to learn. You've built the Pink Tower, and you've learned to garden and cook and write plays and poetry and sing in operas, even if you don't sing, and recite Shakespeare on stage. You have the potential to be well-rounded, interesting adults and hard workers. Yay, you. So go to university and wash the tables, do your own laundry, clean your room, finish your thesis with the same passion that you used to have when you were a first-year Montessori kid. The second Miss Robby pronouncement, and my students have heard this before, is that I don't really believe in talent. I mean, if you have a tiny little affinity for something and you want to do it, that's all you really need. Work at it, throw yourself into it, and see where it takes you. There are lots of talented people who aren't doing very well, and lots of people with, little talent who are extremely successful. Winslow Homer, one of the greatest American painters, said, and let me see if I get this right, what they call talent is nothing but the capacity for doing continuous work in the right way. Number 3, every professor you have has something to give you. The good, the great, and the only human professors. Take it. Take that something they have to give you. Now, number 4 is a little bit of a contradiction. I'm going to use a couple of Southern expressions here, so try to keep up. When you're faced with a difficult task, a course, a part-time job, whatever it is, jump in and wade out. Throw yourself into it and then figure out how to do it. And part 2 of jumping in and wading out is know when you're over your head and ask for help. Now, this next part is serious. Don't be afraid of asking for help of another kind. You are about to embark on adulthood. It's a very scary thing to navigate. There'll be pressures, there'll be time problems, time management problems, money problems, insecurity, loneliness, time management problems. See what I did there? Yeah. Your own sexual identity to deal with and get through. Yikes. And in the current climate in our country, there may be things you haven't seen. There may be racism. There may be trolling. There may be worse. And it can be a really confusing time, particularly now, I think, to go off to college. So promise me, all 4 of you, if you feel sad or overwhelmed for more than a day or 2, I want you to go talk to somebody. And by somebody, I mean a professional, your advisor, a counselor, or a mental health professional on campus. There is no shame in asking for help when you need it. In fact, it's the most mature, independent thing you can do for yourself. Okay? The key to happiness, this is number 5, the key to happiness is right here. Okay? It's not what you're doing. It's not what you're majoring in. It's right here in your head. I have a little sign in my studio, and I read it every time I'm starting to lose my positive outlook. I have a pretty positive outlook. But this helps kind of keep you centered. It's Dale Carnegie, or Carnegie, depending on what part of the country you're from. It isn't what you have, or who you are, or where you are, or what you are doing that makes you happy or unhappy. It is what you think about it. So practice positive thinking. It sounds easy, but it's very hard. Number 6, the way to find meaning in life is to do things to make life a little easier and a little happier for other people. Be kind. Be inclusive. Find ways to help others. Volunteer. Work with kids. Give back. Number 7, oh boy. It's really hard to get through college without having some kind of run-in with romance. So I've got 2 things to say to these beautiful young people. Falling in love with someone will feel like the most important thing in the world, because it probably is. And breaking up with someone will feel like the end of the world, and it definitely isn't. So, if Freud was right, and what we have is work and love, then you're ready. Ben, Patricio, Michaela, Mario, you are ready. You already know unconditional love because you are surrounded by it right here in this room. So wrap it around you and take it with you and share it with the world. You already know how to work. You learned it back in lower elementary school. Keep your morning work time sacred. Take a recess, come back and do the specials in the afternoon. Build the pink tower, wash the tables, get your doctorate. Work hard and change the world. I love you all.
Robbie.
That was my
All right. So now I think is the moment that we've mostly been waiting for. Some of us are concerned about this moment because now we have a new human resource issue. And we no longer have internet or anything electrical at either campus. We preemptively turned off all the computers just because we knew this was coming. All right, so now is the time when we're going to be graduating our 4 seniors here. And actually, I do want to clarify one thing. We said we had 5, and now we have 4. We still have 5 seniors, but Alex, one of our students from Spain, is back in Barcelona, and he was taking his basically equivalent of his boards. So he unfortunately cannot be here with us today, but he certainly is graduating and getting all the rights reserved with graduating. So congratulations to him, even though he's not here. Ready? Tim?
Would the secondary faculty please join us on stage? And while I'm at it, would all of the faculty please join us on stage? Because all of you have been part of the preparation of this photos. Be a little crowd. Come on, come on, Dave.
I would like to welcome to the stage Benjamin Bogard. Next, I'd like to welcome Michaela Bowling. And next, I'll welcome up Mario Kellner. Last and certainly not least, I'd like to welcome up to the stage Patricio Miranda. In a few years, when we have 20 graduates, we better get our act together and more than this.
We've never quite done it this way. Okay. Yes?
So now we are doing this slightly differently because of logistical challenges. So would you like to start with
I
Benjamin?
would if I could find Benjamin. This one says Benjamin Helmut Scott Bogart. This one says
2018. Graduates will lead the other students in the procession outside, and that's where the reception will be.